what goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Tired of restless nights? At Leesa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Leesa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to Leesa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses. That's LEESA.com and use code iHeart for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Leesa just for you.
Absolutely not. Let me go.
Tom, keep a grip on him.
Eli, don't do this. Don't do this.
I had charts. I had graphs. I even had the home address of where she lives now.
You can do it when it's your turn.
Eli, I think you're overreacting, bro.
And I mean, it's not like we're going to come up pro eugenics this episode.
Okay, well, just no spoilers. Let's let the audience be the judge, Cecil.
No,
Thank you.
we will not be doing that. No.
He even stole my idea for the cliffhanger ending, guys.
He's wriggling. He's wriggling.
Well, hold him still.
Too tight.
Damn it.
Too tight.
Well, see, okay, this brings up an interesting point, actually.
Maybe not right now, Heath.
Stronger skulls don't squish. Just look at the dimples. Just saying. Just asking questions.
Hello, and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Tom, and I'll be your host this week for a discussion that's almost certain to include verbal hate crimes. The following people are the reason why. First up, please welcome two men with... Okay, fat. They're both fat. Heath and Eli.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Been told we look like a before and before picture for just most things. Most things were the before and before.
I like the clever wordplay we do in these introductions, guys. It's a nice
It's good.
touch to our show.
Also joining us tonight are the after and after picture for the Castaway diet.
Okay, they get a metaphor. That's
Noah
fine.
and Cecil.
Wait a minute. I feel like Cecil's shaped less like Tom Hanks and more like Wilson now.
That's fair. I'm after Tom gets back and he reintroduces carbs into his life.
It's nice. They got some wordplay. That's cool. Whatever. Only had one.
They deserved it. But before we begin this regrettable journey, we want to take a moment and thank all of you who have donated to the show via Patreon. Look, shows like this don't just write, record, and edit themselves, I'm told. It takes the hard work and dedication of 4 or 5 of us to produce this malevolent maelstrom of madcapery. These guys don't work for free, and drugs are really expensive.
Yeah.
Well, no, good drugs are expensive. Anyway, our patrons keep most of us off the street, and that's good for the streets. So if you'd like to learn how to join the ranks of those who care enough to send the very best, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. With that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about eugenics because Heath is a goddamn monster.
Hey, fun long form jokes today, everybody. Long form. Deep, long
Listen
form.
to the end before that email.
Start at the first episode.
And if this is your introduction to Citation Needed, no, it should not be your first introduction. No, go back, delete this, destroy your phone, whatever needs to.
You guys are ruining my momentum before it even starts. Whatever.
Well, Heath, you are indeed a monster and very much goddamn. Now, you obviously didn't need to read the article, given your pre-existing body of obviously racist knowledge, but are you ready to get started?
I was born ready, Tom. Born with good top of the pyramid DNA, ready to go.
You sprained your eye the other day.
Right? That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
What a terrible, overweight, foul-smelling pyramid of DNA it is. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? Let's just get this over with. Tell us, Heath. Why are we letting him do this again?
I don't know.
Okay, fuck. All right, tell us, Heath. What is eugenics? There we go. I asked it like I'm supposed to.
So glad you asked, because most people have a super negative idea in their head about eugenics, but there's really no reason for that. So let's start with the word origin. It's
oh yes, let's yeah, good. We gave Cecil shit for telling us the size of a battlefield. So let's spend some time on etymology. Everyone this is definitely not headed in a boring direction already. So yeah, let's do that.
Don't let him fool you, Tom. He's just trying to win over Noah. Noah loves embryology.
Dude, you just heard him say the word. How could you mispronounce a word you just heard?
Epitology.
All right, so before we get into it, this is satire about current events. Just so everybody knows, feel like I should have. Opposite day, starting now. Actually, starting slightly before now. Whatever I said earlier, go. Opposite day.
Starting right before the skit.
So, eugenics comes from the Greek word eugenis, meaning well-born, like good people are. And if you break it down, that's eu, meaning good or well, and genos, meaning race, stock, or kin. Just all good stuff. So that's all I'm saying.
Why did I delete my joke? Because I thought that word was pronounced Eugene's. It's not. Which means my joke about how Eugenes are unattractive won't really work here.
Eugene.
So, you were saying?
Eugenes, isn't that a group of Jews?
That was my joke, Eugenes. And I was going to be like, most Eugenes are, I was getting in it, but apparently it's some stupid.
Oh, I didn't read your joke. I'm sure it was very funny.
Latin, well,
it turns out that's pronounced embryology. Yeah.
All right. Well, in modern English, eugenics basically just means a set of beliefs and practices aimed at improving the genetic quality of a group, which again is all positive, improving quality. And there's really no way to abuse that. So feel free to start changing your minds now if you haven't already.
If we did, that kid from Gattaca wouldn't be an astronaut today.
Thank you. Thank you. See, so exactly.
Spoiler alert, that kid from Gattaca becomes an astronaut.
The Battlestar? You're talking about the Battlestar?
All right, listen, Heath, you're very unlikely to change the fine reputation of eugenics that quickly. So, as your girlfriend has undoubtedly asked you many times, can you get in a little deeper?
I cannot, but I can. Here's what I can do. I can take a different angle, and that's what it's all about. So, we can think of eugenics as being divided into two categories, positive eugenics and negative eugenics. But again, let's try to avoid any confusion and remember that it's all positive, just like in the general sense of the word positive. The distinction between the two types, it's just a matter of what methods are used to make more of the better people and dispose of the shitty ones. So it's just like a dichotomy.
Okay, so like a eugenics to-do list would be like, make more better people, invade Poland.
Okay, don't.
And then dispose of shitty ones, preheat the oven to 500
degrees. You're spoiling
degrees.
the story, man.
Well, I will say, for whatever it's worth, in this particular case, preheating would be an act of mercy.
That is fair.
I'll explain. It's not what they just said. In positive eugenics, we encourage the better people to have more sex and create more babies.
We're using we now. All right.
The society, the royal we, the better people, we want them to have more sex and create more babies. And in negative eugenics, it's the opposite. We make sure the shitty people don't reproduce. Like
by having more sex and less babies, because sign me up for shitty people. I'd like to be on that list.
You are, Tom, no worries.
Already got you down. All good.
Until my
So,
prank goes through.
the shitty people, we don't want them to reproduce. I don't feel like there's any reason to argue with this yet. So, we would like trick them into using condoms or having abortions, which is actually easy because they're generally stupid. Or we sterilize them again.
Not using the condom, actually.
Or we sterilize them again, often very easy with like a trail of candy, a big X, and some rope. There's a lot of ways to do it.
All right, let's rewind here, little Heath. I think we need to know more about the history of eugenics before you espouse eradicating a population of imbeciles.
I need to know how to use the rope.
I kind of want to know where you put the X.
I actually have an Acme blueprint. You can check it out. I'll show you right now. So anyway, in terms of origin story, eugenics has a long, rich history dating back as far as ancient Greece. For example, the great philosopher Plato, who was basically the smartest guy ever, he suggested eugenics in the Republic. He wanted the better people to have a selective mating policy in order to lock down a guardian class that would handle the, like, thinky stuff for all the idiots. It's kind of like superdelegates.
Yeah, none encourages a strong genetic line quite like inbreeding, right?
Wait. Guardian class, little shot at democracy. I'm being won over, guys.
Thank
I'm being
you.
won
See?
over.
Open minds.
Okay, so wait. Even after Trump's nomination, we're pretending superdelegates are a bad idea? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was clearly saying good idea. Really wish everybody would pay attention. Okay, so...
Like,
Who doesn't have a selective mating policy, though? Like, I just want to ask that question. Like, who just has like I don't care, whatever, whoever pops in their mating policy?
Most guys, Thomas, it turns out.
Trailer parks.
Oh, okay, all right. No, look, asked and answered. Asked and answered.
The concept of eugenics is a pretty obvious one that's been around since ugliness started. But eugenics didn't really get nicely honed into a societal project until more recently. And like all great ideas, at least according to Eli's ranking of the best white people, this one came out of the UK. And before we move on, does everyone agree that British is the best type of white, like Eli said? How would you guys rank that? I feel like he doesn't have that right.
Is there like an equivalent to an emergency eye wash station for racism? Because as this goes on, I feel like I should have access to one.
That's a weird dodge of the question, Cecil, because Heath and Noah have an attractiveness bias, and I could use some support from my best friend. That's all I'm saying.
Also, a weird dodge by everyone else, apparently. So, Scandinavia first, Slavic last is how I had it. Anyway, modern eugenics actually started with a cousin of Charles Darwin named Francis Galton. And after reading about evolution, Galton realized we should obviously be trying to get, like, better beaks and stuff. His general idea was that all the desirable traits in humans were linked to genetics, even though Darwin himself strongly disagreed with this, actually. But then Darwin died, and Galton was like, yeah, fuck that guy. Should have been having better genes, so we're doing my thing. I call it eugenics. What's the worst that could happen?
This episode.
JonBenet Ramsey.
Touche.
I quit hosting duties. I'm not.
All right, so one other source of early eugenics was from an American gynecologist named William Goodell, who happened to attend Williams College, along with other great minds like George Steinbrenner, for example.
What? And to think this guy didn't even have affirmative action to blame for not making it into a better school.
Well, they don't really make better schools than that one, just saying. Number one liberal arts college in the country for like 15 years in a row, U.S. News and World Report.
No, I'm sure that's the only one you applied to. Sorry.
I applied to a bunch of other
What
ones.
were the words you said between number one and country? Was it school?
I was ranked ahead of wherever else you're thinking. Anyway, Mr. Goodell was one of the original advocates for negative eugenics. He wrote some important works, including clinical notes on the extirpation of the ovaries for insanity.
Love that one. Ending was a little predictable.
Yeah.
Have you heard it on the concertina, though?
He also wrote The Effect of Castration on Women and Other Problems in Gynecology. That was one of his other works.
Wait, other problems? Because I feel like we don't really have to move quickly past the first one for a while, right?
Just this guy in front of a brick wall. Why are gloves so expensive?
Yeah. And Tom, you make a good point. That second one, it's a weird title, Other Problems in Gynecology, because he definitely didn't seem to think castration was a problem. His whole thing was ending mental illness by castrating all the insane men and spaying all the insane women.
Yeah, they had little live trap cages filled with antidepressants to catch the feral insane.
Okay, well, that's actually quite insane and clearly has been long discarded as monstrous. Right? Episode over?
Yeah,
we can go home now?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Can someone please tell me that we can just go home?
I think we're done, right?
Sadly, proof of Heath's plan failing is on this show, delivering this line, Tom. Delivering this line.
It feels like you're saying, what was the point of the Holocaust if we still wind up with Eli? I'm not saying that's what you were saying, but I'm also not saying it isn't, Eli.
As we get into the early 20th century, eugenics spread to other proud white areas like the rest of Europe, Canada, and the U.S., where it was naturally embraced by all parts of the political spectrum. And it's always great to see something with that much bipartisan agreement, I'd say.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we'll learn, fascist Nazis and liberal snobs go full horseshoe, really get together on better DNA. It's a good lesson we could use right now, actually.
Yeah, you'll find that Make Eugenics Great Again is a better acronym, too. It's like a real prefix, you know?
Hashtag mega.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm going to use that. So
When are you going to use that? Sorry, when?
It's not.
We'll have hats
not
on
important.
Thursday.
Hats for everybody.
It's not important. The website I like to use got taken down. It'll be back. Don't worry about it. So eugenics happened just like most good things from the UK. It really started popping when Americans stole it and made it better. Like America, the country, for example. So here in the U.S., we started doing some positive eugenics in the form of events called Fitter Family Fairs. And they're pretty much exactly what you're thinking. Families would go to local county fairs and, much like livestock would be judged for best body or best physical dexterity, white people would compete for best Aryan type prizes at these fairs.
Which is yet another way this episode ties into Jean Benet Ramsey.
Keep rubbing it in, guys. Keep rubbing it in.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a bunch of white people. I suspect there probably wasn't a dancing competition. But best cracker wins night at the Ritz, though, right? Is that
Ritz. It's a cracker.
it's a cracker. That's the joke.
The kids show up their Ritz bits.
That's what he spreads all over.
Right? That's how you make
It's like a bukkake
right?
of Ritz. You know, you just pour it on your face. It's what I do. I just open the box and pour it.
Just pour it all
you know?
over.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all very unsurprising stuff, Heath. We've been judging pigs at the fair in rural America for a long time, so let's move on. What next?
All right. So during this time period, all the beautiful blue ribbon white kids in America really started turning heads with the international scientific community. And pretty soon, lots of national governments were on board. This led to universities with well-funded eugenics departments, led to a rise to prominence for eugenics-themed organizations, and even a series of international eugenics conferences happened in places like London and New York City. Basically, everyone embraced the idea of responsible parenting. It was a simpler, greater time.
It wouldn't actually happen until years later, but eventually these universities invented the most effective birth control of all time, oppressive student loan debt.
I'm sorry, I'm hung up on this. What does one do at a eugenics-themed organization?
Great question. I got a pamphlet for you.
You just show up and you're like, hey, who wants to play Cards Against Humanity and then kill everybody who raises their hand?
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's what you do to those people. They said a naughty word on the card, so I have to say a naughty word.
crimes for humanity. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to crack some eggs. Anyway, speaking of responsible parenting,
John Benet Ramsey.
Somebody put a gag in him.
Speaking of responsible parenting, there's one other big movement that actually tied into eugenics, which happened around the same time. And that would be the birth control movement, pioneered by feminist icon and champion of eugenics, Margaret Sanger. And just for the record, many would argue that birth control is one of the most important innovations of the 20th century. And for good reason. There is no more responsible way to parent than not doing that if you're poor and stupid. So it's great stuff.
Yeah, and who better decide if you're poor and stupid than the rich and the scared, right? That's right. I think.
Wait, what if you're poor but not stupid, or stupid but not poor? What do you
Don't complicate things. It's whatever I say. It makes sense. It works.
In the latter case, you get to be president.
Exactly.
Mega.
Positive eugenics. Yeah. So, plus, by the way, women at this point kind of became people with like choices. It was good stuff all around. Wow. Bottom line, if you're a feminist, then you agree with eugenics and there is no middle ground. Moving on.
I can see the bumper stickers now. A woman's right to choose the purity of her bloodline.
I just want to point out, I know I'm a little late on this, but I want to point out that in the 19 episodes we've done so far, Eli has never spelled Jean Benet Ramsey A the same way or B correctly.
Okay, you should talk. You only made it 2 words, so it's her name is John Benet. It's a middle name.
Or even Jean Bennett up here somewhere.
It's French.
All right. What about John Benet Ramsey's DNA? Like top 10 percentile until
Depends on where you find it.
Oh, yeah. Whose fingernails do you scrape it out from under? That's the
Her dance. Let me do the episode.
All right. So just to reiterate, throughout the early 20th century.
This is like a twofer episode, right? Is that what this is?
All right, so
those were John Benet Ramsey's last words. It's a two.
Oh God!
I will segue one more time right now. All right, so just to reiterate, throughout the early 20th century, eugenics was crushing it. But then 1925 rolls around, and a German author writes a book called Mein Kampf that would prove to be a major turning point in the history of eugenics. Yeah. But I won't say how just yet, because I want to leave everyone on a cliffhanger while we take a quick break for a fun, lighthearted segment we call Apropos of Nothing.
Okay, so why'd you guys bring me to this warehouse?
Well, we're doing this week's episode on eugenics, right?
Yeah, eugenics.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little confused too on this one. A little confused as well.
Yeah, and you guys know that eugenics seeks to improve the human race by eliminating the weak from the gene pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I like where this conversation's headed. And
okay, well, we read the Wikipedia article, and so sorry, but you can't be allowed to breed. You guys you can't allow that.
Oh my God, you're going to kill us.
What? No.
Oh.
That'd be terrible.
Not me first.
No, not kill, castrate. Cecil, what? Ready?
Yeah, I can shish kebab their testicles from 20 paces, Tom. You know that.
Actually, sorry, guys. My wife wants kids.
From pugs is what you mean.
What?
Your wife, she wants pugs, and she has them. You're set.
Okay. Second point, I want my testicles. I want to keep those.
Yeah, I'm with Eli. No fucking way this is happening. Besides, I did way too many drugs to still be fertile.
But no way that this is not happening.
It's locked in.
His cheerful description of the wonderful effects of eugenics was just too persuasive. Mm-hmm. Cecil, on guard, I don't know. Let's stab.
Okay.
Yeah. Ow! What's going on? Why is there so much smoke? Noah, were your testicles full of smoke? What's happening?
You know, in a weird way, I actually kind of feel better now.
Yeah, me too. Get the other one. Hi, I'm Eli Bosnick from Joke Getter. Joke Getter is a revolutionary new app on all devices that'll turn jokes into basic, straightforward statements that you can agree with or disagree with. And we're the sponsor of this episode about eugenics. Has this episode made you upset? Are you concerned that 5 comedians got on the air after 18 episodes of joking about cannibalism and murder to seriously advocate eugenics? Then you need Joke Getter.
Before Joke Getter, I spent most of my time commenting, what? On other people's Facebook statuses. But now, you know what they say, I don't do that anymore.
People would always say, what a great idea. And I would think they were serious, but thanks to Joke Getter, I understand it's orgasm. It's sarcasm. It's sarcasm.
I didn't understand why my nephew told me I couldn't handle the truth. But now I know it's just from a movie with Jack Nicholson.
I'm a very offended person, and using my keen sense of offense, I was always afraid comedians cleverly hid their open hatred for the lower races in the 19th episode of their podcast. But thanks to Joke Getter, I know that if they did an episode about the Donner Party, this episode probably ain't serious either.
Joke Getter. Available now in the App Store for $285,000.
It's not. See, that was a joke, too.
And we're back. When we left off, you were telling us something about a German guy?
Yes, I was, exactly. So there was this guy in Germany who was big into National Socialism. Yeah, kind of like Bernie Sanders, but not exactly. He's kind of like Bernie Sanders. Anyway, this guy tried to organize the German Workers' Party and take over the government, hoping to help out the little guy in Germany. But it didn't work, and they threw him in jail for it.
Oh, and he was a veteran, too. Job creator veteran.
Exactly. Because of his emails?
Exactly.
Is that why?
We may never know.
Yeah, well, while this guy was in jail, he wrote that book I was telling you about earlier called Mein Kampf.
Right, yeah, that's German for the art of the deal, by the way.
It's something like that, close, yeah. And after he got released from jail, he eventually managed to get most of the country on board with his platform, and he actually became Chancellor of Germany. And his plan for Germany was mostly about stuff like healthy living, promoting good science, like eugenics, and ending the international conspiracy of capitalism and also somehow communism being run by the Jews.
So the same as Skeptic Magazine at this point, basically. It's the same agenda.
I feel like your description of events is distressingly Breitbart in tone, but tell me, Heath, how did it turn out?
We all the people got together and defeated their ideas in a big debate.
Yeah, it was a huge counter protest called D-Day.
Hey, Axis, Allies, there were some violent people on both sides. All right.
Very true. There was also some fine people, some very fine people on both sides, too.
Thank you, Noah and Cecil. I think everybody's coming around except Tom. Weird. Whatever. Hold out. So it was a whole thing with Germany. Long story short, the German guy took this great idea of making people better with genetics, but he ran with it, some would say, a little too far. The Holocaust is what I'm talking about.
The Holocaust.
The Holocaust, yeah. The German guy was Hitler, is what I'm talking about. Obviously, one of the darkest moments in human history, or at least that's obvious to you if you're part of the alt-left, anyway.
Is the alt-left the thing you throw if they are currently blocking their face, like a liver punch? Is that the
I mean, I prefer a bike lock, but sure, yeah, if you want to start with the body, the hands drop.
I want to paraphrase here a little bit. Hitler took it a little too far. Heath Enright.
Okay, we don't need, it doesn't matter the extent to which I feel like we're getting too much into detail. I said too far. So, yeah, the genocide thing was a little over the line. It's a little over the line. But that doesn't mean there weren't a few good angles at eugenics that also happened around the same time. For example, there was an effort to remove severe hereditary defects from the population, like major physical disabilities, that kind of stuff. According to a poster about this project, showing a man with no legs, quote, "This person costs the community 60,000 Reichsmark during his lifetime. Fellow German, that is your money too," end quote. So this is responsible fiscally, is what I'm saying.
You hear that, Thomas Smith?
Okay. All right. Hold on. So you start out with 2 feet and then you lose 2 feet. I've never been good with story problems. What's the final solution to that?
Let's kill Thomas Smith's baby.
No, in fairness, the thing I just described, that was a poster for the Germans' T4 euthanasia program. So just to reiterate, yeah,
T's 1 through 3 didn't get off the ground.
Yeah, no, it's just T4.
Degenerate enough.
But not even, I mean, yeah, it was better, but T4 still was problematic. The murder part was bad, is what I'm saying. But their hearts were in the right place. That's the important thing to take away here. Or brains, whichever part was in the right place. Hearts, I don't know. So something was in the right place. Point being, if there was a test that could tell us, you know, yeah, this fetus is going to become a literal dragon and burn cities to the ground, we'd obviously want to have that be a standard OBGYN test, right?
Could you imagine how insufferable Ivanka would be if she had 3 dragons?
2 more dragons? That'd be rough.
Can you imagine how much less damage dragons would do than her dad? Just picturing some fat asshole in a red hat cheering for the dragon. He's a straight shooter. He'll fire.
Yeah, and if some people were like, no, you can't discriminate against dragon babies, we'd all be like, fuck you, no dragons. You can still live, but no having dragon babies. Obviously, adopt a human, like a good one or something.
Oh, but when Dawkins says it on Twitter, he's suddenly a pariah.
Thank you. You can't expect a geneticist to know these things.
All right, guys. Well, since we got the dragon population nicely under control, well done. I'm really warming up to this episode.
Good.
In fact, I feel just about preheated.
How merciful.
So what other wonders do we have to thank eugenics for?
Okay. Well, one other good portion of the Nazi eugenics program that gets lost in the shuffle a lot of the time was the idea of due diligence when choosing a mate to breed with. Again, they definitely took it a little too far with the pure Aryan race thing as the goal, but the general idea of potential partners thinking about how to make better kids, that's just like common sense, which is why members of the SS were, quote, cautioned to carefully interview prospective marriage partners to make sure they had no family history of hereditary disease or insanity. But to do this carefully, they were, you know, they were going to give you a caveat, carefully, so as not to hurt the feelings of the prospective fiancé. And if it became necessary to reject her for eugenic reasons, to do it tactfully and not cause her any offense. End quote.
Those Nazis are damn considerate,
Right?
aren't they?
Exactly.
But I gotta tell you, there's no way this is gonna work. I've tried the whole "it's not eugenics, it's me" line. They see right through it.
This is a weird topic for someone to choose when they're dating the human version of a shaky chihuahua. Just throwing that out there.
Anyway, one of the big consequences of that whole ordeal in Germany was the way it basically ruined the reputation of eugenics for decades to come. I mean, 2017 feels like the stigma might finally be gone, but we'll get there. We'll explain.
It also totally ruined a style of mustache.
Right.
You're saying.
Yes.
Except for Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he could pull it off. He pulled it off.
He really
Yeah.
Nailed it.
He really did. So, yeah, lesson learned. But I feel like it's important that we don't let, you know, one freak genocide ruin the whole barrel of apples. So, Holocaust notwithstanding, I think we can all agree that the shitty people from all the groups could use some weeding out. You know, fair and balanced. And given our new knowledge of genetics, another Holocaust wouldn't even make sense to the good races, because if we exterminate entire groups that we deem inferior, that's actually bad for the gene pool. Turns out the weaker stock often carry hidden positive traits that we don't want to make extinct. And again, we know this now, so it's all good.
Anyone else feel like this is the point in the wiki where he started to come around? Or
Wait. The weaker stock carry hidden positive traits. Are you telling me like a pug is going to give birth to a German Shepherd? Wait. Oh God. Hold on. He cast a spell on me and turned me into a racist. He's like a grand wizard or something.
All right, good. I think I got this. Eugenics as a justification for the wholesale slaughter of a massive group of people is bad. Yeah, really bang up research here, Keith.
Thank you.
Glad we're here today. It's good use of our time. What's next? What else you got?
Next week, we're doing third-party voting. A little more harmful. We want to ease people into it, but yeah.
All right, so like I said before, Holocaust was terrible. Hitler was an awful person who set us back immensely in terms of genetic science. It was terrible.
He said in a weird, rushed, forced, awkward, someone made me say this tone of voice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a soft denunciation of Hitler. Are you running for president or something?
I will make another statement at a press conference in a couple days. I'll figure it out. Yeah, so pretty much nothing was achieved in eugenics for a long stretch following World War II. That's the point I was making. But then near the end of the 20th century, people finally forgot, and eugenics made a comeback. And this coincided with some major advances in genetic science. For example, one thing that we've had for a while now is prenatal testing for birth defects, which leads to plenty of smart abortions. Obviously a good thing. So there you go.
Yeah, I can't wait until we get genuine smart abortions, though. Like, you can get rid of that thing with a text. That's going to be amazing.
Is that where you text your fetus, and if it uses emojis in the text back, just...
Exactly. We want that. We want smart abortions and several other advances.
Smart abortions are just performed in really small cars.
Yeah, and several other advances in the field of genetics are being labeled eugenics as well. But it's becoming less and less clear why people would see that as a bad thing. Because, again, it's pretty much all good stuff, like artificial insemination, egg donation, gene therapy, cloning, embryo selection, so you don't create the inside-out little girl with Zika if you can avoid it. We want that. We want these things, obviously. And just to put an icing on the cake, the Christian right is against all of it, all the stuff I mentioned. So it's almost certainly good for the world, and also probably not rapey, because that's how it works. If they don't like it.
Well, to be fair, though, the Christian right does have a vested interest in not raising the general IQ.
Yep.
Fun fact, General IQ, a character in my new version of Clue, where you figure out who killed Charles Murray's career. It was him. It was him. That's how each game ends. It was him by being a racist piece of shit.
All right. Well, everybody check the math Eli was doing just now. It's not necessarily, there's a curve and you can do some analysis.
Play the game.
Just, let's be skeptics. Anyway, one final point on this. There's a great movie on the subject of eugenics called Gattaca that showed us the wonderful utopian society that's possible once we really perfect genetic engineering. Cecil mentioned it before. It's basically a documentary of the future. Highly recommend. Anyway, in the movie, the people with responsible parents who didn't procreate until they had money were able to buy better DNA and therefore produce better kids. These people were known as valid, and the poor, ugly, diseased people were called invalid. Obviously, the valid people did all the important stuff, and the world was better for it. So there you go.
It's crazy. Just the second I realized the supporting actor was a valid invalid. I am not a smart man. I'm not smart.
For someone who was never meant for this world, I must confess, I'm suddenly having a hard time leaving it. Of course, they say every atom in our bodies was once part of a star. Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm going home. It's a line from Gattaca, guys, from the movie.
Oh, yeah, that explains why you embroidered it on that pillow that you clutch night and day, I suppose.
And the invalid, it happened after he was born, so it was an accident. It wasn't like he could have, doesn't relate to eugenics. Okay, well, now that we've all heard the full story about eugenics, I'm thinking it might be fun for everyone to weigh in with their opinions on each side of the issue. I'm thinking we'll make a list of pros and cons, and we'll really hash this out. So, I feel like everybody's on my side for the most part, but let's do this. So we'll start with the pro side. Who's got some arguments in favor of eugenics?
I would not exist.
Eli would not exist.
2 votes.
That 3, make that 3. And also you have several interesting flags to choose from.
Great. Some good answers. Okay, I'll add one more. So as we learned recently, we're kind of stuck with democracy, or whatever you want to call the electoral college. So as long as we're still letting everyone vote, it seems irresponsible not to breed out the stupid people as best we can, right? Yeah. Okay. So what about the cons for eugenics?
Okay. All right. Bringing a tiki torch everywhere is cumbersome.
Says you.
No more daytime TV ads for instant egg peelers.
I think you mixed up your answers, Eli.
I did not. I did not.
Okay, anyone? Cons? Nobody? Okay, well, the pros clearly outweighed the cons, so the end.
Jesus.
Eugenics is good.
I just
decided as a group.
Fuck. God. All right, if you had to summarize did you learn anything? Did you, if you had to summarize it, what would it be? How? Tell me.
I guess say what you will about the tenets of National Socialism. At least they were right about the future of science. And Uma Thurman was super hot in Gattaca. So there you go.
All right, well, that's indisputable. Yeah. So I won't push any further. And then, are you ready for a quiz, Heath, from our panel?
Robert E. Lee was a great general. Yes, I am.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
He was good at being a general. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like what he thought.
That's why they won. That's why they won. He was so good.
He was a good general. Yeah. He was a skill. Why would they hire him if not as a good general?
He was also excellent at being an orange car later on. I'm just saying. Terrific orange car.
Okay, so Heath, I'll go first. Now that we're all eugenicists, we're going to need a quick... That's a word. We're all going to need a quick, catchy nickname. Should we be...
Eugene.
A, the testes testers. B, the ovum omnibus. C, the semen overseers. Or D, the Eli Bosnick story stoppers.
Well, you're trying to trick me with D, but I bet you've got some hidden positive traits in there somewhere.
No,
you never know.
I don't think he does.
No, it's not clear. It's possible. That was an attractive. You're trying to trick me. I'm gonna go with A, the testes testers, because that's definitely a good name.
Oh, you got it.
I did. Thank you.
You did it. You correct is how this works.
I bet you'll get mine right too. So if you want to rehabilitate the reputation of eugenics, which you clearly
it's a
seem
weird way
to,
it's a weird premise. Weird premise to your question. I don't know. I reject the premise.
All right,
I
I'll
reject the
shorten
premise, but
question.
go ahead.
Which group of people should you eradicate first? A, sports announcers who use words they don't know the definition of. A shorter term for that, by the way, is sportscasters. B, people who tell you stories about friends of theirs that you don't know. C, the residents of Ohio. Fuck that state. I drove through it the other day. How the hell can a whole state be under construction, guys, and still be such a piece of shit? Anyway,
when they finish the construction, they're going to build more Ohio, too. Like, that's distressing enough.
So it's just getting worse, yeah. All right, how about D, people who equivocate between Nazis and anti-Nazi protesters?
Okay, well, catch the ball at its highest point. Are you fucking kidding me? It's obviously A. You guys are idiots. Why do you think that would? It's a parabola. The ball. How would you imagine a quarterback throwing a ball? You're jumping in the middle of that arc? No, you're catching it way later than that. You guys don't know the definition of the word highest? Are you fucking kidding me? It's A. Idiots.
Yes, it is definitely A.
Gym class was fun.
I made it too easy.
All right, Heath, like all things, this episode made me hungry. Which of the below is the most thematically appropriate snack for this episode?
Oh, God.
A, Pol Pot stickers. Pot stickers, right? B, Charleston Jews.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
C,
very good.
Sanger hanger steak. Or D, a fourth one. I'm not good at puns. I just wanted to use Pol Pot stickers.
It's actually secret choice E, both A and D. It's Pol Pot stickers. That's awesome.
Nailed it.
And you just wanted to use that, and that's why that's the answer. It's A and D. E.
I got to say it twice. Just say it.
All right. Heath, which of these pop songs is actually a subliminal eugenics song? A, Faded Jeans by Golden Earring. That's a homonym pun. B, Goodbye Baby by Fleetwood Mac.
Homonym.
C, Detachable Penis by King Missile.
It's actually homophone. Whatever, go ahead.
Or D, a great birth control about pulling out Come On Eileen.
Oh, wow. That is tough. It's D, Come On Eileen. It's definitely D, Come On Eileen.
No, actually, that song's about bukkake. The real answer is Goodbye Baby.
How
by
are those
Fleetwood
mutually
Mac.
exclusive?
Bukkake is a great form of birth control. We
Be
know
quiet, I'm
this.
supposed to win.
You know this. We know this personally.
I've
good
never been
advice this
impregnated
episode.
by bukkake. Okay.
Once again, the eyes have it.
Well, congratulations, Cecil. You stumped our racist. So I don't know. That's awesome. Great. So you're the host next episode. I don't want to do this anymore. Pick the next guy. All right. Just pick somebody. I want to go home.
Well,
Maybe don't pick Heath.
to continue his day of disappointment, I'm going to pick Noah.
I bet I select something less offensive. I'm just throwing it out there.
I miss New Coke.
All right. Now I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Tom. Last week's question was, if you could dig anyone up from history to answer for their crimes, who would they be and why? Our favorite answer came from @NeptuneAura. If I could dig up someone to answer for their crimes, it would be Kellyanne Conway, because that's pretty much her job anyway. Thanks to everyone for submitting answers. This week's question is, if there were a eugenics-themed amusement park, what would be their most popular attraction? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, fellas.
All right. Well, for Heath, Eli, Noah, and Cecil, I'm Tom. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can check out Cecil and I at Cognitive Dissonance, where I mostly just monitor Cecil's ever-rising blood pressure. And you can check out Noah, Eli, and Heath, I don't know, pretty much everywhere on the internet where naked women don't go. But I guess specifically the Skeptocrat, God Awful Movies, and The Scathing Atheist. If you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere else. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. Incidentally, we are now taking applications for the role of Heath.
Affirmative action.
Get in there. Send
bullshit.
those resumes.
He did quit the show.
Affirmative action is
He has
bullshit.
quit
I
the
see what
show
you
a
guys are
number of
doing.
times.